Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today we've got something completely different. We're on Jurassic World Evolution and my plan is to make a dinosaur ecosystem. The plan is to have 4 different biomes and I will later turn this into a battle royale. If you want to see that, please let me know, because I don't want to do it and no one wants to see it. You know what I mean? So please let me know if you want to see that. Yeah, my plan was 4 different ecosystems, 4 different biome things, and then eventually we'll let them all fight. Without further ado, let's just get into the video. I decided to build a little bit of a park for guests because I didn't want to leave it blank. I built an innovation centre, then I built some nice hotels, then some restaurants, emergency bunkers, restrooms, shops, and drinks bars. After sectioning the whole massive land into 4 squares, I decided to work on my first biome. I set my eyes on the forest biome. This included a massive group of trees in the centre and a nice little river surrounding the trees, so that all the dinosaurs could drink and be near some forest if they needed that for their comfort. I then decided to add smaller lakes on the outside with little tiny rivers joining them up to the river around the little tree island. I decided to do quite a few of these around the map. Then I proceeded to add some plantation, which included ground leaf, ground fibre, and many more things so herbivores wouldn't go hungry. Also added some that had no nutritional value, just to make the place look a little nicer. And I think it worked out very well. I then built up the terrain to make sure it weren't all flat, so we had some hills and then some dips, so it's not just loads of flat ground, giving the place a bit more character. In this little area over here, I decided to build a bit of a crater, and this crater will become one of my favourite places in the grassland area, and home to one type of my dinosaurs, which we'll see later. Now that the grassland was finished, it decided to move on to actually adding some dinosaurs. So this is the whole grassland, add a little bit in the middle as well. Hopefully I'd put the Rex in there, hopefully they live there. I don't even really know. But then I proceeded to decide what dinosaurs I'd like to live in my forest biome. And honestly, I had no idea going into this. I was thinking about trying to Google what would actually live there, but I decided just to wing it and go with what I think would look good in that biome. Final picks for the herbivores was Parasaur, Triceratops, Drysaur, Gallimimus, and the Charmosaurus. And my picks for the carnivores were Haravosaurus, T-Rex, Ceratosaurus, Albertosaurus, and then finally a Coelophysis. I thought these would go well. I didn't really do any research, but I thought I'd like them to be in the forest biome. Then I proceeded to transport all the dinosaurs over to the actual forest biome. This is probably the part that took the longest because I had to do it by air travel and they just take so long. But I eventually did it and then we can move on to the next biome. This was a sky view of it after I put down loads of feeders just to keep them alive before we do the battle royale. Then I started working on the next biome. I decided I would like a desert. So this has consisted of me just placing a whole lot of sand. And I'm telling you, this took me absolutely ages because I had to also remove the trees due to sand can't be below the trees. And then fill in that whole massive square. So I'm not going to show you all of it. And I'm literally just going to cut to when it is done. After spending 5 whole minutes of just placing the sand, I decided I need to add some texture to the ground. So I started making some sand dunes, and I'd have sand dunes at the back, and then just flat desert wasteland below it, where the herbivores can hang out. This didn't really take me too long though, because it was just placing hills, and yeah, not really much else. So I'll cut back to when it's done. Then I decided to put some water around the desert wasteland. My plan was just like little puddle, like looking things, and like in really weird shapes. It's just where the water's been catched. I've tried to like not put too much water, but I needed them to be able to drink. So I put these little like stick-shaped ponds everywhere, and it meant the dinosaurs wouldn't drown. There was like 1 or 2 in the sand dunes as well. But yeah, I just wanted to make sure that the dinosaurs did not drown at all. but still looked like a desert wasteland. I then proceeded to make sure the dinosaurs had something to eat. I added a couple of carnivore feeders and then some plants. The problem with the plants, I didn't want to make it look like it would lose its desert feel. I tried my hardest to make it like look natural, but it's quite hard in a desert adding plants. And I'll show you what it looked like at the end. I want to see if you guys agree it looks good or not. This is what it looked like after. I decided to place some rocks around as well, just to give it a bit more natural feel. I know it looks a little bit weird, but I quite like the dots everywhere. But yeah, I tried to keep it all down the bottom and then leave the sand dunes untouched. So if a carnivore was up there and they saw a herbivore, the herbivore would have to go down to get the food, which means the carnivores would go down. So they'd all hang around the bottom, which is what I wanted. It was now time to work on the dinosaurs I wanted to live in there. I started off with the carnivores. I already had ideas of what I wanted to live there. But yeah, I went to work and this is my final pick I'll show you just now. My final picks were a Carno, Carcharodontosaurus, Tarbosaurus, and then a Quetzal, not a Quetzal, a Quinso, the Allosaurus things. Please tell me how you pronounce that in the comments down below. So these were the herbivores I had for now. The Brachiosaurus was ending up in the swamp, but later on I will add a whole lot more dinosaurs to the desert biome. But I really wanted to start working on the next biome, which I already just said was the swamp. So my plan for this biome is quite self-explanatory, just loads of water, some not very dense trees, and then plants like moss in the water as well. I also tried to have like little islands as well in between, try and give it more of a swamp feel rather than just loads of rivers. And I think it looks quite good in the end, but this is literally just me placing down loads of water at the minute. And I think it did look alright. After I finished the water outline, I just covered a lot of the top bit of it with just loads and loads of trees, which I think made it a bit more swamp feel, especially putting them in the water as well. It did feel very swampy. And then I moved up to the north, trying to give the ground some character. Like, I wanted to make sure the ground wasn't all flat. I don't really like flat grounds. So I decided on every little island there'd be a little bit of a hill or dip or like some form of character to the actual ground. And I always think it looks 10 times better after you do this. I then decided to add some vegetation for the herbivores. I decided to put all of that sort of stuff up the like this part of the map, and then the other part would be all the trees. I wanted to add a little bit of it in the water and not just on land as well, to give it that swampy, like murky water feel. And I think it turned out sort of alright. I mean, there's not really much else you can do with a swamp apart from just put loads of vegetation in and out of water. For the water, I settled on these type of plants that have no like nutritional value, but just makes it look so much better. And I sort of like put it in the centre of the trees as well. And I feel like in the water it looks the best because it gives the dirty feel. But they still have all their food on the land though. I made sure to never take any of that away. Added some gaps in the trees to give it a bit more character. And I think it turned out really, really well. I was working on the swamp for quite a while, just adding various touches like rocks and just loads more vegetation. And I think it ended up quite alright. I did really like working on this one. It was really fun to do. Although it took me a while, I did really enjoy making this swamp. It was now time to move on to the dinosaurs, and if you're thinking, don't worry, I will show you all of these places at the end. Don't worry about that, you're gonna have to stay to the end to see it. And I decided to go for all pescivores mainly, and then other stuff that I thought would look good in a swamp. Let me show you what I picked. In the end, I decided to pick Suchomimus, Spinosaurus, Baryonyx, Therizinosaurus, because I thought it'd look good there, and then Crethiosaurus. And also Dimetrodon. I feel like they were all very good picks, and they all suited the swamp biome. These were the herbivores I picked. I know there's some carnivores on there as well, but it's because Had so many carnivores I wanted in this biome, and I didn't really have any more ideas for herbivores at the time. But later on I added more herbivores, and I'll show you all that at the end. I then started on my fourth and final biome, and this is one I always wanted to do. It's a rocky mountain biome, but then I also did like a hilly grassland right next to it. And I feel like I really enjoy this biome, but it took a lot of time because building hills isn't that easy in this game. But I decided to do it while all the other dinosaurs were getting delivered to their places, and that's why I decided to leave it for last. The silly bit I was working on right here was going to be the like rocky area, and it's going to be just death. The first bit of water you get up there is this. And then I'll do loads of little rivers surrounded by hills. And I was hoping that all the herbivores would stay down the bottom, and then if they would go up there, the carnivores would eat them. So then the carnivores would force to move down. That's what I've always been trying to do, is force them all into one area. So then you will actually get some fights when it comes to the battle arena, which I will do after this video. I started doing that river that I said I'd work on. My plan is just do loads of random lines with water, then another big lake, and then a little bit of a land in the middle where there'd be a hill in the middle, because it is the hilly biome, so I wanted to have as much hills as possible. I think I had one more lake after this, and then did that, just surround them with hills. All this would not be painted with rock, by the way, just so that you know this is all going to be grass, the area. But the bit at the start, that's all going to be rocky hills, very like dangerous area. I decided to let this place be home to the Giga as well. So let's move on to actually adding the dinosaurs. Right, instead of me doing what I normally did and show you them all in the hatchery, I decided to go back on a future day and just do a whole overview of the park with what dinosaurs I had at the end, and they would be the ones I'd use in the battle arena. So this one is going to be a little different, and let me just show you live footage of me talking live. Yes, this has all been a recording. Anyway, let's get it. Right, okay, all the biomes are now finished, so I'm going to start by showing the Rocky Mountain. So I actually did turn all this into rock, and then leave all this to look a bit more like hills. So first dinosaurs we've got the Jungosauruses in the lake, the first North Lake. I added a Rex here as well. It was a Dominion one though, because I thought I wanted two apexes to fight in one biome. So we've got Rex here, and over here we've got the two Gigas. There's actually two of them, so it means obviously Rex will probably die. If not to this one, to the other one. And then we've also got all the herbivores have hung around over here. Like I said, they haven't really moved too much from this lake, because they have got some food around here as well. So they haven't really moved far from this. We've got the Mamentosaur over here, just not moving very much because it's so big. Oh, and one of the Jungosauruses made it all the way over to the wall towards the swamp as well. Was not expecting that, but that happened. Anyway, let me show you now the swamp. So this is the sky view of the swamp. We've got the Spinosaurus, which has ventured all the way to the north, which I wasn't expecting. Next to the Therizinosaurus over here. The Therizinosaurus doesn't move much. It's always been in this little area a lot, right? It's always been around here. We've got the Baryonyx. I think there's 5 of them. They all like move together. They won't have any propagated food as well, because there's loads of herbivores. I think they can all get killed by the Baryonyx, probably. Maybe not the Stegosaur. Stegosaurus might be able to try its best to fight it off, but can't promise anything. I've removed all the feeders for now, because this is literally just before I'm going to start the fight. It won't be today though, but like, I've got it ready for when I want to do it. 2 T-Rexes are just... They've explored everywhere pretty much in this whole massive biome. All the Struthiomimuses have just ran around. I think that's Struthio or Zagani. All the Gallimimuses have just all ran around. They've all got lost. Can't find each other. Ceratops have all stayed up here next to the crater for pretty much the whole time, which I'm happy with because I wanted some dinosaur to call the crater its home. And that, yeah, that's the sky view. Got some parasaurs over here as well. Wait, what are they next to? Is that? Ah, the Hararosaurus. I really want to see this dinosaur kill something. It's quite small, but I'm having high hopes for this dinosaur. Let's move on to the desert biome now. Last biome. But yeah, I did not expect these guys to be so small. I don't really play this game too much. And then when I found out these guys were small, I got a bit annoyed, so I added some more like trikes and stuff that could actually fight off or have a chance of fighting off some of these carnivores. We got one of these guys as well over here. I think these are the quince thingies I cannot pronounce. Yep. Like acro. No, that's Kaka. Where's acro? No idea where the acro is, but it's somewhere. But yeah, that's all of the 4 biomes. I think my favourite one, or the one that's going to have the best fights, will probably be the forest. And then the ones that will... I think this one would probably lose most of its people quite quick. No, probably the desert will lose a lot of its population quite quick. It's all the small guys that will probably be eaten like one bite by the big guys. So this is going to be the one where I think is going to be the most carnivore v carnivore one. The swamp's the interesting one. I don't really know what's going to happen here. Because there's a lot of carnivores, but there's a lot of like big herbivores as well. These guys are literally just snacks. I put them in because of the Planet Dinosaur TV program. And they got eaten by a Spinosaurus, so I want to see it happen in this game. But yeah, that's all the biomes. That's pretty much all I have to show ya. So yeah, that's everything. And that is it for today's video. I'd like to say thank you everybody so much for watching. If you have watched this far, it means a lot. I would be doing a battle royale next time, and we're also going to try and work on an art video if you'd like to see that as well. So please leave comments down below of what other videos you want to see, and if you have watched this all, please subscribe. This will be a while to make, and it means a whole lot. This is Sorry Turtle, signing off. See you all next time.